Most men believe they already know what women fear. Heartbreak, cheating, being left alone. Those are the easy answers, the obvious wounds. But what if I told you that the real fear, the one hidden deep beneath the surface, is something far more subtle, something so quiet, most men never even notice it, until it's too late. Listen carefully, because once you see it, you'll never look at love and relationships the same way again. I used to think love was simple. I thought if I showed loyalty, stayed faithful, and provided care, that was enough. But I was wrong. That mindset nearly destroyed me more than once, because here's the truth. Men and women do not always fear the same things. We live under different shadows. For most men, the deepest fear is failure. Failure to measure up, failure to provide, failure to stand tall among other men. That's what haunts us at night. The question, am I enough? But for many women, the fear runs along another path. It's not the fear of losing a fight. It's not the fear of being outmuscled. It's quieter, softer, yet sharper when it cuts. It's the fear of becoming invisible. Yes, invisible. Not invisible to the world, but to the very man she loves. The fear that his eyes will stop searching for her, that his attention will wander elsewhere, that the spark that once made her feel chosen will fade, leaving her standing in the shadow of her own home, unseen, unheard, unnoticed. This is where so many men stumble. We think loyalty is the answer. We believe that saying "I love you" every once in a while should be enough. But love alone doesn't silence her hidden question. Do I still matter to you? Do you still see me? And here's the painful part. When men fail to notice that silent question, we accidentally confirm her worst fear. Not because we mean to, but because our lack of presence feels like proof that she's fading away in our eyes. Brother, that's why projection is so dangerous. Projection means taking your fears, your lens, and assuming she feels exactly the same. But she doesn't. You fear weakness, failure, losing respect. She fears vanishing from your heart. The moment you stop assuming and start listening, not just to her words, but to her silences, you'll see the shift. The energy changes. Suddenly, love becomes more than a routine. It becomes recognition. It becomes safety. It becomes choice, made again and again. Because at the core, every woman silently wonders, if the world gives you other options, will you still pick me? That's not drama. That's not insecurity. That's human nature. And the man who understands this doesn't just hold her hand. He holds her trust. He doesn't just keep her love. He protects her dignity. And in doing so, he transforms the relationship from something fragile into something unshakable. So, let me ask you, how many times have you mistaken her fear for nagging? How many times have you rolled your eyes when she questioned you? How many times did you miss the truth hiding behind her words? Her real question is not, why didn't you text me back fast enough? Her real question is, do I still hold your gaze? And if you miss that, if you fail to see it, you risk turning the person you love into a ghost standing right beside you. But when you recognize it, when you respond with presence instead of defensiveness, you unlock a power that few men ever understand. A power to make her feel safe, visible, chosen. Not once, not twice, but every day. That, brother, is where real connection begins. Betrayal. Just the word alone sends a sharp chill through the body. But here's the truth. While betrayal wounds everyone, the way it cuts men and women is not always the same. The pain may be shared, but the questions it raises are often worlds apart. For a man, betrayal feels like a direct strike to pride. It bruises the ego. It whispers, "You weren't strong enough. You weren't respected. You weren't worthy." When another man takes his place, it's not just about love. It's about standing defeated in the eyes of the world. His very manhood feels questioned. But for a woman, betrayal can carry another message. It's not always about pride. It's about value. Do I still matter? Am I still worth choosing? Or am I already forgotten? To her, betrayal doesn't just mean a broken promise. It feels like proof that she has become invisible, that she has lost the one thing she fears most, her place in his heart. And this is where most men get it wrong. We think the hurt is the same. We think our partner's tears mirror our own thoughts, but they don't. Her wound is not about honor, it's about visibility. Pause for a moment and imagine this. A man betrayed feels as if his crown was stolen. A woman betrayed feels as if her reflection has vanished. Two different pains, two different shadows. And if you can recognize the difference, brother, you can respond differently. You stop fighting the wrong battle. You stop meeting her fear with your own defensiveness. Instead, you meet it with understanding. You don't just see her pain, you see the deeper question underneath. Because the deepest fear, the one no one talks about, isn't heartbreak or rejection. It's something quieter, something more haunting. It's the fear of fading away, not in the physical sense, but emotionally. The fear of no longer being noticed, of no longer being heard, of no longer being important. And the danger is, it doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly. One day you stop complimenting her. Another day, you scroll your phone instead of listening. Another, you're too tired, too distracted, too busy to look her in the eyes. And little by little, without realizing it, you've answered her hidden question. Not with words, but with absence. This is why small moments that feel tiny to you, like her asking, "Why don't you say nice things anymore?" feel enormous to her. She's not just asking about words, she's asking about visibility. She's asking if she's still chosen, or if she's slowly becoming a shadow in her own story. And here's the trap. Most men take those questions personally. We think she's nagging. We think she's creating drama. We think she's attacking us. But in reality, she's testing us, not out of cruelty, but out of fear. Every test asks the same thing. Can I trust you not to let me fade? Can I trust you to see me when life gets heavy? Can I trust you to choose me again tomorrow, even when you don't have to? Brother, if you understand this, you win half the battle of love. Because suddenly, her drama stops looking like an attack and starts looking like a plea to be seen, a plea to feel safe, a plea to know she still matters. And here's the secret. These tests are not designed to break you. They're designed to measure you, to see if you're steady enough to carry the weight of her trust. When you finally see it for what it is, everything changes. You stop reacting with anger. You stop rolling your eyes. You stop shutting down. Instead, you lean in, calm, steady, present, and you realize something powerful. It's not the big speeches that keep her heart safe. It's not the grand gestures. It's the small, consistent actions. Looking her in the eye when she speaks. Turning off your phone for 5 minutes to listen. A simple, genuine compliment that says, "Yes, I still see you." These are the anchors of trust. These are the proofs that silence her hidden fear. Because at the end of the day, every human being, man or woman, wants the same thing: to be seen, to be chosen, to be remembered. The fear of invisibility is real, and the man who can meet that fear, not with panic, not with empty words, but with quiet, steady presence, becomes the man who can be trusted. Not just for tonight, not just for tomorrow, but for the long road ahead. Let's clear something up right now. The word validation has been poisoned. Too many men hear it and instantly roll their eyes. They think, why does she need constant attention? Why can't she just be confident? Why is she always asking for reassurance? But brother, here's the truth. Validation isn't vanity. Validation is visibility. It's not about feeding an ego. It's about answering a quiet, unspoken question. Do I still matter to you? Think about it. Social media is built on this truth. Someone posts a photo, then checks the likes. Are they chasing fame? Not always. Sometimes it's just a pulse check. Am I still seen? Do I still exist in the eyes of others? When those likes slow down, when compliments fade, the brain whispers, maybe I'm fading too. In relationships, it's the same. She doesn't always want endless praise. She doesn't want you to worship her. What she wants is much simpler. Proof that your eyes still notice. Proof that your heart still chooses. Proof that your presence still holds her in focus. And here's where men often fail. When she asks for reassurance, we take it as weakness. When she stirs up tension, we think she's nagging. When she tests us, we assume she's trying to break us. But that's not what's happening. Those moments aren't war, they're checks. Imagine this, you're buying a car. You don't just take the seller's word for it. You press the brakes, you test the steering, you drive it over bumps. Not because you want the car to fail, but because you need to know it won't collapse when pressure comes. Relationships work the same way. Her tests aren't designed to destroy you. They're designed to measure you, to see if you can remain steady when life gets heavy. So, picture this. She comes at you late at night with a sharp question. To you, it feels sudden, unnecessary, maybe even unfair. But in reality, she's pressing the brakes. She's checking the steering. She's asking silently, when stress hits, will you crumble? Or can I trust you to stay solid? Most men fail this test, not because they're bad men, but because they misread it. They think it's an attack. They get defensive, raise their voices, argue for 20 minutes, or worse, shut down completely. And by doing that, they confirm her deepest fear. He can't stay steady. He loses himself when pressure rises. I can't trust him with my heart. But the man who understands, he reacts differently. He takes a breath. He pauses before speaking. He doesn't match fire with fire. He stays calm. And in that calmness, he sends a silent message. You are safe here. I see you. I'm not going anywhere. That's the power of presence. That's the weight of steadiness. And here's the irony. When you pass the tests start to fade because she no longer needs to check. She knows. Your consistency has answered the question before it's even asked. But let's be clear. This doesn't mean drowning her in endless compliments. That's not strength. That's desperation. Real validation isn't about empty words. It's about honest signals. A compliment when it's genuine. Eye contact when she speaks. Phone down when she needs your focus. Small acts that whisper louder than speeches. Yes, you still matter. Yes, you're still seen. Do you see the difference? This isn't about people-pleasing. It's not about giving up your boundaries. It's about being the anchor when waves rise. Calm plus consistency greater than chaos. Because here's the truth. Women don't test men to crush them. They test men to measure them. And the question beneath every test is simple. Can you carry the weight? Or will I have to take control because you fall apart? When you stay calm, you don't just pass the test. You earn respect. Not the shallow kind of respect that comes from fear, but the deep kind that grows from trust. The kind of respect that says, this man is steady, this man is safe, this man is worth building a future with. And here's where the story flips. Once you understand this dynamic, relationships stop feeling like battles. They stop feeling like endless conflict. Instead, they become a rhythm, a dance where both partners feel secure enough to bring their full selves without fear of collapse. Because at the end of the day, every test is not about chaos. It's about safety. Every plea for validation is not about vanity. It's about love. Every sharp question isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal you. And if you can rise to that challenge, if you can meet her fear with calm instead of fire, you become something rare. Not just a partner, not just a lover, but a man whose very presence silences storms. Brother, let's be honest. Whether we admit it or not, every single one of us feels the pressure of time. The clock is ticking, and not just one clock. There are many. There's the career clock. Am I wasting my best years in a job that drains me? Am I building something that will last? There's the family clock. Will I find the right partner? Will I have kids in time? Will I miss my chance? There's the health clock. Am I taking care of myself, or will I regret this body in 10 years? And then there's the most haunting of them, all the meaning clock. Am I wasting my life on things that don't matter? And when those clocks start ticking louder, urgency rises. And when urgency rises, behavior changes, standards shift, patience shrinks, choices sharpen. This is why sometimes a partner suddenly feels pushy. Why she starts asking bigger questions, demanding clearer answers, raising her standards. It's not that she woke up difficult, it's that the clock got louder. And here's the mistake most men make. They take it personally. They think she's trying to control them, pressure them, corner them. But it's not about control, it's about survival. It's about reality. And here's the lesson. Never dismiss another person's clock just because you don't hear it ticking. Respect it, communicate, share your timeline openly. If you're focused on building your career first, say it. If you're looking for something serious, say it. If you're still unsure, admit it. Honesty saves everyone from wasting the most precious resource we have, time. Because denying the clock doesn't stop it from ticking. But respecting it, that creates alignment. And alignment creates trust. Now, let's get to the part most men don't like to face, the blind spot. Too many men spend their lives pointing outward, complaining about women, complaining about society, complaining about dating. But the uncomfortable truth is this. The real problem isn't out there, it's right here. The biggest blind spot men carry is avoiding their own growth. We live in an age of distractions. Video games, junk food, endless scrolling, alcohol, porn. you name it. Comfort is everywhere, and each time you choose comfort over challenge, you shrink. Each time you avoid responsibility, you weaken. Each time you escape instead of stepping forward, you quietly betray yourself. And here's the brutal truth. Respect isn't lost because women don't see you. Respect is lost because you don't give the world a reason to notice you anymore. You stop building yourself. You stop sharpening your skills. You stop chasing purpose. And then you wonder why life feels empty. Respect doesn't come by demanding it. Loyalty doesn't come because you asked for it. Both are earned naturally when you live a life that commands them. That means discipline. Doing the hard work, even when it's inconvenient. That means purpose. Knowing where you're going and why. That means emotional control. Staying steady when storms hit, instead of exploding at every small stress. And that means leadership. Not controlling others, but leading yourself so clearly that others trust your path. Brother, here's the truth that will sting. Many men aren't ignored because women don't value them. They're ignored because they've stopped valuing themselves. They've chosen comfort over strength. They've chosen distraction over discipline. And the cost of that choice is invisibility. Think about that for a second. The very fear you think women carry of fading away is also the silent disease eating men alive. But the difference is, you do have the power to rebuild. Growth is the only cure for irrelevance. And this is why women test, not to crush you, not to nag you, but to measure you, to see if you can handle weight, to see if you can stand tall when life is messy. And many men fail, not because women ask too much, but because those men never built the strength to stand firm in the first place. Here's the call. Stop blaming, stop waiting, stop hiding, start building. Build discipline, build skills, build a mission that makes you magnetic, build habits that make you stronger every single year. Because the man who leads himself doesn't need to beg for attention. His very presence commands it. This is the hard truth, brother. You don't rise by demanding respect. You rise by becoming respectable. You don't attract loyalty by begging for it. You attract it by living in a way that deserves it. And if you can face this truth, if you can stop pointing outward and start building inward, then invisibility is no longer your story, because the world cannot ignore a man who refuses to ignore himself. So, how does a man actually show up in a relationship? How does he carry strength without turning cold? How does he stay calm without going distant? The answer isn't about becoming hard, it's about becoming steady. Not unfeeling, but unshaken. Not detached, but grounded, like a rock in the middle of a storm. That's the kind of presence that earns trust, not because you shout the loudest, but because you cannot be moved by every wave. Let's break it down into steps you can actually live by. Step 1. Steady yourself before you speak. The fastest way men lose respect is by reacting too quickly. Anger rises, voices raise, words are fired before the mind even understands what's happening. And those words, they don't just wound her, they weaken you. The better move? Pause, take a breath, anchor yourself before you answer. A rock doesn't move just because the tide is loud. Neither should you. That pause, those 2 seconds of calm, can save 2 hours of chaos. Step 2. Acknowledge the feeling, but hold your line. Validation doesn't mean surrendering your boundaries. It doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means saying, I hear you. I know this matters. Here's what I can do, and here's what I can't. That single act, hearing without collapsing, builds trust. It tells her she matters. It tells you that your backbone is still intact. A soft heart plus a strong spine. That's the formula. Step 3. Build trust through consistency. Trust isn't born in grand speeches or dramatic promises. It's built in tiny deposits over time, showing up when you said you would, keeping your word, following through on the small things. Every act is a brick. Over time, the bricks become a fortress. Step 4. Lead your own life. Few things are more magnetic than a man with direction. A man drifting, lost, without focus. He weakens everything around him. But a man who moves with clarity, who builds something meaningful, who knows his why, he doesn't need to beg for respect. His very presence commands it. Step 5. Be kind, but never be a pleaser. True kindness is strength, but kindness born from fear is weakness. If you give in just to keep the peace, if you bend your standards just to avoid conflict, you may keep her approval for a moment, but you will lose her respect for a lifetime. Soft heart, strong spine. That's the balance. Put these together and you become the anchor she can trust. Calm in chaos, solid in storms, present but not desperate, strong but not harsh. And here's where everything transforms, when you stop being reactive and start being relational. Because most men are stuck in reaction mode. Every mood swing feels like an attack. Every test feels like a war. Every argument feels like proof that love is broken. And what happens? They blow up, they shut down, they spiral. But the man who learns to see beneath the surface, he doesn't get trapped in the noise. He sees the pattern underneath. He realizes that most drama isn't drama at all. It's fear in disguise. Fear of being unseen, fear of being forgotten, fear of fading. And when you see the fear, you stop reacting to the flames. Instead, you start addressing the fire at its source. You stop asking, why is she acting like this? And you start asking, what is she afraid of right now? And how can I stay steady in it? That shift, brother, that shift is everything. Because once you master that, you don't need to shout for respect. You don't need to fight for loyalty. You don't need to prove yourself every 5 minutes. Your presence does the work. Your calm becomes her safety. Your steadiness becomes her trust. Your purpose becomes the gravity that holds the relationship together. And suddenly, love stops feeling like constant battle. It starts feeling like partnership, because you're no longer the man who collapses at every storm. You're the man who leads through them. Here's the truth. Most men never learn until it's too late. Relationships don't crumble because of one giant betrayal, one loud fight, or one explosive mistake. They crumble slowly, quietly. They crumble in the moments we don't notice, the compliments we stop giving, the attention we withhold, the presence we forget to bring. They crumble not because love dies overnight, but because it starves silently. And brother, here's the painful reality. Most of us are so busy defending our pride that we miss the real wound beneath the surface. We think the war is about respect. We think the fight is about loyalty. But often the truth is much simpler. She just wants to know she still matters. Do you still see me? Do you still choose me? Am I still worth your attention when the world offers you 1,000 other distractions? And here's the twist. You want the same thing. You also want to be seen, to be respected, to be chosen. The fears look different on the surface, but deep down, men and women are fighting the same storm. We're all terrified of invisibility. That's why the greatest shift a man can make isn't about controlling his partner. It's not about forcing loyalty. It's not about demanding respect. The greatest shift is about mastering himself. When you stop reacting and start responding, when you stop collapsing and start standing, when you stop blaming and start building, that's when everything changes. Because here's what strength really is. It's not raising your voice. It's not controlling the room. It's not being feared. Real strength is being the calm in chaos, the rock in the storm, the man whose steadiness creates safety, whose direction creates trust, whose presence commands respect without asking for it. And once you step into that role, something magical happens. The tests fade, the fear softens, the arguments lose their teeth. Because you've answered the question before it's asked. Yes, I still see you. Yes, you still matter. Yes, I still choose you. But don't miss this. This isn't just about relationships. This is about life. The world tests you the same way love does. Every setback, every failure, every loss is a test. And the world is asking you the same question. Will you crumble under pressure, or will you stay steady? That's the challenge of being a man today. Not perfection, not dominance, but presence. Because presence is power. And brother, here's the final lesson. You don't earn respect by chasing it. You don't hold love by demanding it. You don't build trust by begging for it. You earn them through discipline, through consistency, through presence. So, build yourself until your presence speaks louder than your words. Build yourself until your silence commands more respect than another man's shouting. Build yourself until your calm becomes the anchor others cling to when the storm rages. Because when you do, everything shifts. Love stops feeling fragile. Respect stops feeling conditional. And you stop feeling invisible. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be steady. To be the man who doesn't need to prove himself every 5 minutes, because his life already proves it. Brother, become the man whose calm brings safety, whose strength brings trust, and whose purpose leaves a mark so deep that invisibility is never your story. Because the secret isn't about avoiding fear. The secret is about carrying it, holding it, standing firm in it, and still choosing love anyway. That is where real strength lives. That is how you become unforgettable. That is how you lead a life worth remembering.